The demolition process for the plant would be best characterized as dismantling. There was almost a 4 million square foot plant that resided on this site. That's near 90 acres. So if you think about the enormous size of that building and what happened here, the number of cars and so forth, was a series of buildings, and we had to take that down. And so that occurred over a little under a year period of time. And a big part of that process was taking it down and handling the materials. So much of the plant was recycled, and much of it taken off by rail, some of it by truck, but it was an enormous amount, and I think it was scattered across multiple states just because of the volume of it. As it was coming apart, everything had to be sorted. So there was a pile for iron, there was a pile for aluminum, there was a pile for copper, there was a variety of things. And there were certainly environmental things that we run into, so there was a pile for that was contained and bagged and properly disposed of. But it was a key part of what we were trying to focus on, being sort of ecologically friendly and not just loading the landfills. So that and a number of other things, from concrete to metals and assorted things we looked for. Could we recycle them in some way? So that was a key part of our stewardship of the site. The plant floor still exists for the most part out here, and much of it is 8, 10, 12 inches thick. So we have circumstances around the site in which we cut up blocks out of that to make planters or benches for people to sit, in some cases retaining walls. There's also what I'm standing on here, some boards that were some old boards on the plant where the railroad went through, and so we cut some of them up, old railroad ties, and created a plank here system, and some of the steel that's here was recycled as well, cut from foundations that were in the ground or columns that were standing. The parking lot that's between Third Rail and this bridge that's right above me was an employee parking lot, and so employees would come up and walk up the stairs, walk across the bridge, and it ultimately connected into one of the buildings in the back. These rails, we created a linear park, left the rails in place, put some concrete around them, so that will be a park that people will be able to walk on. It's available to the public, and it will go the length of assembly in this direction, but it will be also part of between 2 and 3 miles of trails that will cover the whole assembly site. Dismantling was really the only way because of the structure. Unlike many exciting implosions where things come down, this was really not a building that was prone to that sort of thing with the kind of recycling effort that we wanted to have going forward.